In the 1950s, the United States Air Force had a problem it could not explain. Planes were going down. They had good pilots, clear skies, and no obvious fault. And when the engineers couldn't find a failure in the machine, they looked at the human. So that's what they did. It had to be a pilot error. It had to be them, except it wasn't. A young researcher named Gilbert Daniels was asked to look closer. And what he found should change the way you think about your own body for the rest of your life. Because the cockpit has been designed decades earlier, built around the measurement of the average pilot. Average height, average reach, average shoulder width, average dial, average seat, average pedal, size to the man in the middle. So Daniels did something simple. He measured over 4,000 pilots, 10 dimensions: height, chest, arm, length, thigh, and so on. And then he asked the one question nobody ever thought to ask. How many of these pilots are actually average on all 10? Well, take a guess. 4,063 men, all handpicked, elite, built to fly. How many sat inside the average range on all measurements at once? 0. Not a handful, not a few, not one single pilot. The cockpit have been built for men who did not exist. And for years they blamed the living, breathing pilots for failing to fit a ghost. Now here's the part that matters. The fix wasn't a better average. You cannot average your way out of this. A more accurate ghost is still a ghost. The fix was the adjustable seat, the adjustable pedals, the adjustable straps. They stopped forcing the human into fitting the machine and they built the machine to bend around the human. And that one decision changed aviation. And it is the exact decision that almost nobody has made out about your health. So a quick context on why I care about this so much. I've worked in nutritional medicines since 2014, and somewhere along the way, I fell into epigenetics almost by accident. It confirmed something I suspected for years, that we have far more hold on our own biology than we are ever been told, and that we are built for so much more than just getting through the day. And that suspicion became an obsession. DNA-based optimization through the gut. I've worked with people who stopped forcing themselves into a blueprint that was never theirs and started working on their own biology instead. They came alive in a way they stopped believing it was still available to them. So when I speak about that the average doesn't exist, this is the reason why. Now, look at your own health. Like, really look at it. Your blood results come back after a test, and there's a column on the right-hand side, the normal range. Have you ever asked where that range came from? It's an average. A band drawn around a crowd of people who aren't you. Your BMI? An average. Invented in the 1800s by a mathematician, not even a doctor, and never meant to describe an individual at all. And the numbers on the side of the box, the amount of everything you supposedly need? Average. The clinical trial that says treatment works? It works on an average. 8 glasses of water a day? Average. Every single one of them is a cockpit, but for the pilot who does not exist. The average human is a statistical ghost. It describes the crowd and it predicts almost nothing about the person standing inside it. What is built for everyone is built precisely for no one. And you have been handed those numbers your whole life and quietly told the same thing every time. If you don't fit, the problem must be you. Sit with how strange this is. We took a tool designed to describe a group and we turned it into a verdict on the individual. The map became a territory, and you were told to shrink yourself until you will match it. I know exactly what the story feels from the inside. I've heard it from clients and I've lived it myself. I spent a very long time adjusting myself to be fit and to be working with diets and workouts and a way of living on the average. Searching for what was broken in my head and in my body, convinced that if I could just fix my way of thinking and the way my body would work, it all will fall together. But the answer was never there. It was in my biology. And no one had ever thought me to look there. The moment everything changed wasn't a breakthrough sitting on a couch. It was a way more quieter than that. It was the moment that I stopped asking what was wrong with me and started asking what my body needs from daily life. So I stopped measuring myself against a ghost. And then everything shifted. And it was not because it was fixed, but for the first time, I was working with my own system instead of it against a number that wasn't me to start with. So the obvious question is, if the average describes no one, why is everything still built on it? Because the average is efficient. Not for you, but for the system. One protocol for millions of bodies scales beautiful if you're the one distributing it. One wage, one guideline, one box, one on the shelf. It's cheap, it's fast, it's legible. It is a magnificent piece of engineering for treating a population. It just was never designed to serve a single body living underneath it. Yours. And a structure built to move volume was very little reason on its own to stop and ask who you are specifically. And though it might sound like a conspiracy, but it's just a design choice. But once you see the choice, you can no longer unsee it. That's what we mean with built for one. And I need you to hear it more than just like a nice phrase on the screen. It's not a personalization as a feature. It's not a slightly smarter app or marginally better plan. It's a worldview. And it inverts the one you were handed. You are the starting point. In place of being a deviation from one, the protocol bends to your biology rather than wedging your biology into a shape that nobody fits. You are not the exception on the rule. And when it comes to your body, you are the only rule that was ever real. One of one. And before I leave you with this, let me say the thing this whole story has been building towards. You were never the problem. The blueprint is, the system is. And every time you did everything right and still didn't feel like you, it was never your discipline failing. It was a map drawn for population, laid over territory of this one single body, your body. It was never going to fit. It was never going to build. And here's the uncomfortable part. I would like to say, a system that profits from you treating you as an average has no reason to hand you back the controls. So you don't wait for permission, you take it right now. And that's what we are helping you with, to help you refuse to be average. I won't be averaged. You won't be average. And this is where it begins. It begins with your health, your rules. Built for one. For you. And if some part of you always known you were more than just a number on a chart, then you really belong over here. So please stay close. Subscribe on this channel because this is just the beginning.